How's it going, everyone? Button here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Hawk 12 light tank. I'm going to be going over the setup that I use for this tank, especially as I used it in realistic and rating game modes. I want to go over some of the stats and the overall behaviors of this tank. I think that has a very interesting aspect to it that I want to get into. I want to go over the economics of grinding, where I play this thing in realistic with my good friend Fatness. And finally, I want to go over my review of the tank in a pub/rating setting where it's real, I'm all by myself, and I'm solo queuing without any assistance from anyone else. So first, why don't we go over the setup? I ran like a basic trap camo because I was playing it in realistic, and I really like the consistency that this camo offers. Not only is it like a free reset, I just put on all my tanks. It's very simple. I run this double repair setup because it's super nice, and it's the only option you have. There's something about this tank. At the tier 9, you don't get the customizability that the tier 10 has to offer. The tier 10 is like basically everything is like reactive, Raquel, tungsten, adrenaline, has sandbags, it has the perks on top. But this tank is very basic, and that's something I don't think Wargaming should have done. I think Wargaming should have added the consumables to the tier 9 as well. You have double food and chocolate. It was pretty simple. There's so much of it. We're on this 34, 24, 14 setup. I think you're cooking. Finally, for equipment, I think you need to just copy this. You can run Rammer if you're a degenerate, but it's definitely not worth it in my opinion. I think Supercharged kind of is worth it, but I really like the gun lane drive. I think that's the best thing you could put on this thing. Make sure you run assembly, make sure you run toolbox, make sure you run defense system. Personally, I haven't had a problem with the modules too much. But if you're getting HE'd a lot, expect your commander to die pretty easily. And he does a lot of work on this tank, I'm going to be honest. I think this is a 3-person crew, but I don't know that for sure. One area of contention is whether you want to run optics or camonet. I prefer optics, but I think camonet with these concealment percentages is super viable. And it could be good, especially if you know what map you're playing on. I run accelerator and delivery system, I think is required. So first, I want to go over the economics of grinding really quickly. Uh, I grind all my tanks on both accounts generally from stock. I do occasionally use a few free XP to grind my my tanks. But in the past, before this recent update, I viewed free XP as one of the most powerful things in this game because you can acquire tanks with free experience. What I mean by that is you just basically save up your free experience and you just basically spend it on the Christmas crates every year. And I had millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of free experience. I had like 10 million that I spent on these winter crates in probably like 3 years' time per account. So it's like 20 million in reality. For times fives, I would get them from opening crates, whether them collect them alls, draws. I think they're the most common ways, but really, I would just open a lot of them and then just stop playing the game. That was kind of the strategy on my button account, where I just basically accumulate as many times fours and threes as it takes, and then I just, well, spend them when the new line comes out. For showers, I have so many tournament coins that I would just keep on buying the Choice of Champions tournament bundle until I have a tank grinded, or I would just open crates. And then the most important thing is that you want to win. I know it sounds really obvious, I know it's pretty difficult to do. So if you're winning with all these boosters to help you grind, it's super powerful. So in order to help me win, I brought on an absolute goat of the game, his Royal Fatness, to help me grind. I'm making him work kind of hard, you know. He started this game by spotting D kind of early and safely, so we could cap it. Then their whole team went A. The Sheridan made it out alive, which is very impressive. And Fatness is gonna. What I really like about Fatness's gameplay is that in a tune, he communicates really well, and he's pretty unselfish. He was staring at the T95 and baiting him to make a play. The T95 realizes he's screwed and he misplays, so he's gonna do whatever he can, and we're just gonna farm out this Progetto. And because when both of us, I think both of us are really good farmers for the game relative to other players, that Progetto is gonna die really fast. Now we just called up the Sheridan, and he's gonna die too very quickly. And you can just see here that these tanks are just getting absolutely vaporized. In the distance, I noticed that external was pushing our spawn, and that the LT's there. So I noticed there was a tank on B cap, so I'm just gonna like quickly run to that and just farm that out too. It's the tortoise. I didn't want him to see me just yet, but I think he got a good glimpse of me, to be honest. So I don't think there's any surprises here today. And I do see him, he's looking at me, and then I decided to use this piece of building as cover, just because I didn't really want to get farmed by external. If he wasn't there, I just probably would have pushed past. But Blitz is a game with context, and you always want to look at the context. Luckily, we were able to pick up the stub, even though that there was a tier 10 Apex platoon on the enemy team in quite broken tanks. I have to say, E50M and T100 is quite the combo for sweatiness. And meanwhile, me and Fannis are rolling around in Hawk 12s. So I found this game to be absolutely hilarious. Thankfully, external goes away, so I'm able to get the tracking shot that actually takes off his fuel tanks for some reason. Yeah, that was a great result. Super happy for that. I'd like to say shout out to Fannis there, because like he absolutely made like good team plays. I mean, so did I too. I kept C, but I think capping D and then baiting out that T95 to make a misplay is so huge. Like, that's why he's like such an insane player, and like people don't really give credit for just how good he is at this game. I'm not even gonna lie. So yeah, so the game took where's the statistics for the game? I want to say that game took like 4 minutes. I might be wrong. I have no idea. But anyways, I made 16,000 just like that off of a 13,000 base XP game. This is insane. I made like 6K off the booster alone, and with premium, I just make so much. It's kind of a lot, and especially if you're grinding on your crew skills, you put a crew booster on this too, and suddenly you're just making tons of XP in no time, and that cannot be undervalued. So if you're looking for a fast way to grind, my one suggestion for you to be would be to not hesitate on your spending. And I know that might be some advice that people can't follow, but if you are able to get premium time and XP boosters by winning these coin tournaments, it will go such a long way towards your ability to treat time as a resource. You'll be able to grind a lot of tanks in the fewest amount of time. Uh, Purely for credits, I recommend you use a gravitizing, a boss mode, or like an uprising to farm credits and just play like a chieftain or something. Me personally, I like the E6 now, but I used to grind hundreds of millions of credits just playing the just playing the chieftain and queuing with my friends from Rain in these game modes. Anyways, this game we divided the roles. Fannis was gonna spot the heavy crossing, I was gonna spot the med crossing. Um it's really nice actually just having him around because I have 2.9k DPM times 2, and it's just like Fatness is literally better than me at this game, but it's like having a second me around, just doing things and just like being really useful. So that's like I really like him, and it's like a set of eyes too in this game mode. Like I don't know if I would have saw the 183 if it wasn't for him, because I probably would have pushed on pass and just capped D. But it's just cool having him there. I think, and I don't know if I said this yet, but Fatness is a really good communicator, even by like a comp player's perspective. And he's like someone that can like you can bounce ideas off of, and he'll like verify whether or not like your idea actually makes sense and it's like worthwhile to do. Our plan of attack here was to cap D, so that we have 3 caps to work with, because we're in 2 tier 9 Hawk 2s, and it doesn't seem really likely that we're going to win this game by killing everyone. It's actually kind of hard to do that. Also, that 60 TP was shot near B, and I don't know if I told him that, but that was like a thought in the back of my head, is that we're going to be making this play onto B, and there's going to be a lot of surprises around. Another thing I really like about Fatness is that he will make a great effort to go for tracking shots. even in a tank like this, where we basically have 0 module damage, unfortunate that he misses that, by the way. Thankfully, I don't know who baited that 60 TP shot. Probably the both of us, to be honest. Might have been him. But yeah, he's on point, and we just work well together. Like, we're really fast at picking up kills. I was kind of sad that the Conqueror kind of walked into my shot like that, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. And right now, like, I think we're in a pretty okay position, but I will say this though. I think Fatness took one from 60 TP. So now it's kind of my job here to just try and give him some time to just run away. That's why I left a little later than he did. He called out the rotation, and I'm kind of like happy to follow. They're all inside the factory, and I'm just trying to get outside the factory because I don't want 4 tanks to push on me with these huge alpha damages. I was very okay with eating the shot there so I can get this rotation. At this point, I was thinking whether or not I want to go A with Fatness and then just like chill there, but they are gonna try and challenge me, so I'm just gonna punish them as they come. Heat shell in. I will say this: in a tank like the HWK, you kind of really need to memorize where all of the weak spots are. That's a huge challenge. I'm going to crest over the ridge because Fatness said he didn't have shots, so as he got over the ridge, I think Fatness did have shots. So I'm going to come under and see if I can take this 1v1, except I'm kind of scared because he could kind of nuke me, and I kind of didn't want that. So I see the 60 TP come on my right. I hit an HE shell. Luckily it bounces. Thankfully it does. And I'm going to quickly aim in, and now we have a good cap lead. And I could just stay here and just chill. A. So I just want to say, like, absolute thanks to Fanus. Like, I think me and him had like an 80% win rate, and I grinded this tank out on my button account and like from stock in about 3 hours because we were just getting so many wins so consistently. I made like 15k XP. That game lasted like 5 minutes, so it was like a huge worthwhile time for me. And I really appreciated like all the help he did because he finished that tank much earlier than me because he grinded it with max modules and I didn't do that. So like having like a good friend like him around who's like willing to like entertain you and like all your silly requests of playing a stock tank in realistic, like it takes a good friend like that from him. Like especially with like the kind of position he's in with the game, it's super chill. Anyways, I think this game I totally forgot that it was realistic. So I realized that it wasn't realistic, so I quickly did this rotation. I wouldn't exactly recommend to do something like this, but hey, you make mistakes sometimes. And I kind of drive into this E6 here because I was looking at, because I messed it up a little. I decided to do this mid spotting run over the bridge to middle, and I see that they're kind of pushing our Foch in a way that's not good. This other Foch is coming in, and he's gonna look to farm our Foch out. So what we're gonna try to do is punish him back. I'm worried about the others peeking me, but as long as I get like good consistent shots in, I'm pretty okay with that. And I'm just gonna say that was kind of a tricky shot, but it was believable for a 240 alpha gun to hit. It's very unfortunate that didn't hit. Now I have the rear of this Yo, and the Yo doesn't have a lot of DPM. I'm kind of concerned about the Kron peeking me. If I'm gonna eat shots, I'm gonna make sure I eat it only from one of the 2 autoloaders, not from both. And I'm just gonna feel them out, feel their positioning out, and where they make a mistake, whether they over peek me or not, like this Yo here, he's kind of peeking me in a bad way, so that's an easy opportunity for us to punish. And it's like these type of plays is what we're looking for. And this is how we're gonna make our plays. We dodged the Sheridan shot there. I kind of saw him in the back of my head. I kind of look at my mini map as we play, but yeah, I was kind of lucky that he missed. I think fortune goes both ways. Like I missed the Foch shot, and the Sheridan misses the shower shot. You know what happens. And I think he's given up. I was looking for an HE shell on the rear just to save myself 2 shells. Unfortunately, I don't really get it. And now I'm just gonna look to farm the 5A and the other Hawk 12 out. But at this point, it's just cleanup work, and I'm just gonna do whatever I can. Put an adrenaline shot here, and it's looking kind of sketch with how this is going to go on. He's going to do a classic circle of death, see if I can get the tracking shot. Missed the tracking shot. Thankfully, he rolls 393, so I got a little lucky this game. Because of that, I'm able to get my second kill for 4k. It's going to be for 4126, and I'm pretty happy with that result. I think that was a good game, good performance, and I'm just generally appreciative of that. That was like my last tank to that was my last game in this tank, so we're gonna go backwards to forwards. 4k here, drop me down. Some pretty decent games. Gonna show this game on Canal next, where Canal, hmm, well, on Canal, what I like to do is I don't know, I just like to feel things out. And one thing I like to do a lot is just push A corner a lot and just generally everything. And I noticed that a lot of heavies, so hopefully they would come. And from A, I like to make my decision based off of that information. I think in this thing, with the high camo rating it has and the good view range, is that I just outspot everything. I generally don't like to shoot things as I'm crossing into the corner, but I noticed that they're all not here, so I figured I may as well. In this type of a game, I kind of valued my farming abilities a bit more than my ability to get the cap, but as they go invisible, I just like to call it and just get the cap. When this type of canal game happens, when you're playing like this AC and they're playing like this DB kind of a game, is you can expect these canal games to take quite a while, and these are going to be the games that you're going to look at as like some of your best games for doing damage, for getting farm. I see a tank in D. We're just going to blind shot it out. And unfortunately, I haven't hit this dude yet, so I'm guessing he's out of some crazy position. I'm just gonna camp here with the Bragado, see what's up. And this AMX shows up. I get the tracking shot in. It was pretty beautiful, actually. I kind of perfectly aimed it too. But don't worry, I bounced the upper plate, so all things are created equal. But anyways, I get like 1,000 assistance damage off of like a single shot, and I don't really know what I was thinking at the time, but I see like they have tanks on C, and so I'm thinking, hey, maybe I can like rotate back and just, shoot some things. If you're wondering where the first shot hit, I hit the Yo's gun. I'm gonna track the Love here, and this is where I think is an argument could be made for running the rammer. Is that you have such an insane permatrack potential, but you kind of take the risk. You're trying to permatrack someone, you might bounce your tier 10s a lot more. You fight a lot in tier 10s when you're playing in tier 9. You gotta really be prepared for this reality. And also, I have to say, can this thing have like a better gun for 240? Like, I've been missing so many shots on like Yos and Loves today and AMX defenders that it's honestly very frustrating. Like, that shot was pretty funny to miss. I missed the entire side of a Yo turret. But don't worry, he's able to kind of snap me. So I guess this is all things created equal. Anyways, once the Yo's dead, Love is kind of out of position, so we're gonna punish this behavior by trying to go up the ramps here, but I realized I went up on the wrong ramp. You're supposed to use the one on the right, and so this is gonna absolutely cost me because I made such a silly mistake. Anyways, the good thing is I kind of have a feeling that it was the SU that shot me because it was a 460 round, not a 400. And so I at least have a feeling that the SU-130 PM is camping high in the corner on their spawn. I'm gonna quickly move my way across. I see the scent, which is really nice. I think the scent's the priority because the Love can be stuck in the ditch, but the scent can easily escape the ditch. So I'm gonna be looking to shoot the scent whenever possible. But I also don't want to bleed to the SU, so I have to be kind of cautious about this. I don't want to make too many mistakes. And I will say this, there is one plus to playing the the Hawk 12, which is that basically we have the same alpha damage, but I know he's got like 2500 DPM. I got 2900. So I know he's dead. Even with adrenaline, I still beat him to the reload. And now I'm in this 5v3 situation, and we're kind of down on cav, so I have to be kind of quick with it. I also don't want the SU 130 PM to like backdoor me, so I'm going to take no chances here. I'm going to shoot heat. I'm just going to absolutely mess with this Love. As this Love is climbing up, I know he doesn't have the gun depression yet. I think I hit the tracks there or something with heat. As he's cressing up, I'm just going to track him, use my adrenaline, and come under and get the clear. That's going to be for 1.2k assistance. I see the SU is in the corner. We're just going to knock him with HE rounds until he goes away. And I think that's a really good way to play Canal, where you just focus on one problem at a time. You need caps, cap A. You have a chance to farm, go snipe. You have a chance to punish a C cap play, go into your spawn. When you punish a C cap play and you want to progress the fight further, go rotate onto the medium side of the map. And if you have this type of gameplay logic and decision making in some of your games, you will benefit. And this is going to be for my second mastery, but first of the video, second of the game. 3,800, 2 kills. We bag some assistance damage. We get a cab. I think it's a really good way to play this game. And this is a tier 10 game. I did want to show at least one of these because this tank has a very big weakness. It's the pen. As you saw earlier, this tank has no alpha damage because I'm rolling like 225s, 240s. I will say this. This is probably the most least beginner friendly tank I've ever played. I don't think people are going to do well with the SPIC at tier 9. This is literally a SPIC that meets an FP 183 in matchmaking consistently. Like, that is not good. That is very bad. I think Wargaming needed to give this thing like a 300 alpha 2-shot autoloader. Or like a 330 gun. Because seriously, this tank is horrendous. I honestly don't know what kind of gameplay decision I had to peak the E100, but honestly, it was a pretty egotistical thing of me to do, so I didn't do it. I'm kind of thinking if I should just fake the peak, but really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just get my team involved and honestly see what they can do. I didn't think the E100 had gun depression as he was backing up. Thankfully, I'm able to hit the little bar under the turret, on the lower end of the turret, I should say. I see this VK going in, and he hesitated. I thought he was going to push forward, but he definitely wisely stopped. But the problem is, I kind of made a gameplay decision expecting him to eat the shells, and now that he pushes, it's go time, okay? This E100 is dead, and I'm going to start putting in shots into this E4. I'm going to go for a tracking shot. It misses, so that's definitely not that good. I'm gonna back up, put another shot into him. This is like pretty okay. But against the E100, I definitely was not able to get the pens I needed. Like, I wish this thing got more pen than 316. But considering how this is a very bad 240 alpha gun, I'm not really expecting for a lot. Anyways, I cap D here. I think it's good. I'm glad that that shell was absorbed by the tracks. Really shows you its module damage capabilities. It's a lot. Anyways, I don't want to peep the Karo anymore because I'm really scared of just Karos just dumping their entire clip into me. It's a really fun experience when you're firing for 240 and the Karo is firing for 380 and it's reloading faster than you. That is a really interesting way of balancing this game. But anyways, at this point, I'm just willing to push in. Like, I'm balling out. I got kills. I got a 240 alpha gun. This WZ is pushing up. I thought I was gonna get the tracking shot in. Anyways, he's driving forward. So we farming this. Big dogs gotta eat type gameplay. Overall, some pretty clean stuff. As he's about to die, I'm just gonna drive away, pick up the kill, and hopefully I can pick up this Hawk 12 here. Gonna let the gun sit, and I managed to get in between the 183 there. Super happy for that result. It's like 3K and 4 kills. Super clean stuff, but I'm gonna be honest, this thing has it. Oh, I even got an Orlix medal. What the? This thing is super rare. It's like the first one on the account in so long. Yeah, well, if you're looking for a tank to farm an Orlix medal, this one pretty good. But honestly, it's like I literally put in so much effort to just get a win. Like honestly, it's way easier when you have like Fatness around. He's just like doing like nearly all the work for you, and you just sit there farming AFKs. Really recommend that. So if you can, just hire him to grind your tanks. But yeah, aside from that, like if you're shooting a tank for 240 alpha, it's pretty sad. Even if you're doing it over and over and over again, it's very challenging, and I don't like that level of difficulty from this game. I definitely prefer playing something like a bad chat where you shoot like 310 every 10 seconds. Actually, that might be a lie. I mean, you shoot 310 on a 6-second clip, and that's super awesome. Or an Object 84 where you miraculously bounce half your shells where they bounce you, and you're doing 310s. I definitely prefer that over this. Or a 292 E1 where you just absolutely nuke someone for 560. Anyways, this 140 is pushing up. I don't know why. I also don't have the gun depression or elevation to make that work. I actually have no idea which one it is because my gun's pointing up, but my tank's pointing down. Anyways, I bounced him on purpose and got the tracking shot because this tank is 240 alpha. So I actually make way more XP if my whole team farms them on my tracking assistance damage. So that is pretty depressing. As I realized this, I try to do the same thing with the AMX 50B there. I'm starting to make it work, so I'm going to make sure I take his tracks off all the time. It's a very toxic form of Blitz, but he's in a tier 10 tank with 2500 HP and a 1600 clip. I'm in this, so we gotta really make things work here. This RHM is coming in. Quick shell of HE into the side, and even with his weak side armor, it's pretty suspect, as you can see with the Hawk 12, who gave me his entire booty. I'm not able to get the farm I want. Very unfortunate. But we pick up 3 kills there, potential Raz on the line, potential Raz. We're gonna creep up, and the 260's dead. Actually unlucky. KPZ's gotten just a shot, so we're just gonna look to farm him out. But honestly, because he has friends with the Rhymenthal, I'm not really looking to really make things work. But the good news is that they're not really looking for me. They're really looking to just farm my team out. So I was like thinking, hey, why don't we just make some plays? So I'm just gonna shoot the RHM here, and I think he was a little sad that I was like retaliating this much. So I decided to put one back into him, and I realized, oh, I think he's just gonna want to shoot me. So I decided to get one more in, and I decided to focus on survival mode after that. And I think I did pretty well up to this point, where I hit my 3500 damage. I got these 3 kills, and I don't really like how the Rhino is like playing around me. Like I feel like he's driving into me a little too much. So I'm gonna peek here, and he's gonna drive into me some more. I was gonna look for this kill, but he blocked it. Oh, shout out to you, Trex King 2989 or whatever. You didn't really make my game easier. That's kind of cringe of you. But anyways, we pick up the mastery on our first game. I was super happy with that. And on an ace, I was making about 12k XP. So, yeah, just get Vanus in your games and watch him do all the work. That's my recommendation for this tank. Anyway, second on damage, 3 kills. Oh wait, it wasn't Trex King 2999. That's the Rhymetal. The shout out to Nomwar017 for blocking half my shots this game. Very, very unfortunate. I had to play with you. But Um, I think to crystallize this review that I did, I think this tank is downright horrendous. I think unless you're like some top 20 player on NA, you're gonna struggle in this tank. Unless like your opponents around you are just that bad. I think it's a very hard tank to 3K right now, or like 2.7K, I would say, because 3K is a tier 10 standard for me. I genuinely do not like what this tank is and what it stands for, and I wish I had an opportunity to really use the tracer shells and the adaptive, because I felt like I was just getting spotted and into brawls all the time. That really kind of tells you what the meta for this game is now. It's like brawls. You don't really have many maps where you're just like focused on making these spotting rotation out plays. I did have a small sample size when it comes to playing the Hawk 12, but that's just a reality of Blitz. And maybe on different servers, it's a different experience you get, but this is just the experience I have. I don't really recommend this tank, which is why I kind of recommended and kind of gave my advice for how to strategize the grind. So I hope you're able to leverage that knowledge to some extent, especially if you're struggling in a tank like this, which I totally understand. This tank is definitely not easy to play. So if you're having a good day, have a good night. If you really enjoyed the video, it's pretty awesome. Have a good one.